Hi there, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I'm showing you a file which is an easel card. Now this one is a hinged easel that has a tab that moves the easel part backwards and forwards. It's really easy to make, but it actually looks quite impressive. But this is the file that I've made. Now we have the top section of the easel card, which consists of two pieces. You may, depending on the card that you're using and the weight that you're prepared to put into the card, because if you're posting it you might want to keep it light, you may want to do a couple of layers of this. Now if you're going to do that, I'm going to warn you that this file is probably not symmetrical, so you'll want to do, if you're going to do a back to sort of like two middles together and have pattern on either side, for example, you'll want to flip this for the copy just to make sure that you've got exactly what you need to do it. If you're not going to flip it, if you're not going to put it, so that you have two outer edges, as it were, and just going to stack one on top of the other and it doesn't matter, then don't worry about flipping it. But if you're going to do a patterned back and front, then flip the design to make sure that you've got two symmetrical pieces, or at least, well, they won't be symmetrical, but they'll fit, put it that way. It's been a long night and I haven't slept well. Okay, so that's what you do for this. And then what you do is you flip it over and you glue the very bottom bit here, because this is a solid line and these three lines here are simply score lines, okay? So you would then glue that tiny little bottom bit there to the centre of the bottom bit of this piece here. Now pretend that I have that flipped over, so this is the back, okay? And you then glue around close to this edge, only on three sides. Don't put any glue here because this tab needs to move up and down. Okay, this needs to do this. Okay, so basically don't put any glue under this area, you only want to glue this bit, all right, around here. And then your top is ready. Now the base I've done in 3 layers, so that probably doesn't need any more layers added. A shadow base, a fancy cutout base to go onto that, and this is where your sentiment would go. So if you've got this one in a patterned thing, you will probably want to put this on top. If you don't have it in a patterned paper, then you may want to just leave it as it is. It doesn't matter as much. But if that's patterned and you want to put a sentiment on, you're going to curse yourself if you put it together and you suddenly realise that you're going to have to stick something in the hole because you can't see the sentiment that you want to write or stamp. Okay, so that's why that one is there. Now, when I said to you easel card, I did mean more than one variety, and the second one is what I call a normal easel base, and this is just cut out of 2 pieces joined up and a couple of fold lines shoved in it. I've given you the shape here that I've used to do this. For the simple reason you might decide you want to do a completely different shape as a base. So yeah, you can choose whatever you like and just put them together. And it's just welded together, and then these here are going to be your score lines. And I've grouped the score lines so that they are separate, simply so that you can set a different cut setting to these lines and just go ahead and put them on a lighter setting. Generally, if for example I was cutting card at 170, then I would use about 17 for a score line in the pressure stakes, okay? Other than that, you can use a clean, empty biro or something like that to score with if you don't have any embossing tools or anything like that to use. And this one obviously folds here and a little flip here. And then what you do is you decide where you want it to fold to, and you put a little sticker or a little button or something like that on the base to allow this to wedge in place when it's actually stood up, as it were. Okay, so that one is really simple. and yeah, you can have a lot of fun with these. I haven't given you the decorative bits, the embellishments, because that is entirely your choice, and that's the easy bit. It's the construction of the card, the mechanics of the card, um, that will stump most people. Okay, so these are the elements that I've actually given you. You've got this piece here, and when I save the file, I'll copy that so you can move it to another base if you want. So again, you can use whatever shape you like. The thing with this is that it does need to be the same length as your base. That needs to match. That length there needs to match. Okay? I mean, you can have it longer, but if you got it shorter, you won't be able to pull the tab out, which would be a bit silly, wouldn't it? And it needs to be slightly wider than your cutout here. And the reason for that is if it isn't, it'll sort of lift up. It won't be held down in any way, and it'll cause problems. So it does need to be very slightly wider. And I have put a little, excuse the meowing if you can hear that in the background. That's my big black and white British Shorthair. And I've put a little hole in here so that you can thread a ribbon or a cord through should you wish to do that. Okay, so as I said, I'll separate this off out for you so you can put it on a different shape card, because you're not limited. You can put any shape you like on it within reason. And then you can play around with it and you'll know that the mechanics are basically in place. But what I did to make sure that this actually lines up was I took that, I lined it up with that, just grouped it temporarily, then put it over my design, ungrouped it, and then moved this away, and then that could be grouped together. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, I hope you find the file useful, and I'm going to go ahead now and get my blog done to go with it, and then hopefully it'll make a bit more sense. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.